You think everyone should have food and shelter? Yes. Yes, I fucking do. And I am tired of people trying to convince me that that's ridiculous. Okay? I am tired of existing in a world where there are dumpsters full of edible food because someone didn't exchange the imaginary shiny rocks for it. Okay? Every single one of our problems can be traced back to capitalism and some asshole who wanted to make more money by doing less, and oh my God, we have enough. We're just not giving it to people. We will do everything but just give people homes and food. You know how much more productive people would be if they weren't spending every minute of their waking lives worrying about how they're going to survive? If you need the threat of starvation and homelessness to contribute to anything, that's a fucking you problem, okay? Get out of my comment section.
Are we going to overthrow the United States government or not? Asking for a friend. You know, when the government creates situations where investment firms can buy up all the housing and artificially drive the prices up, preventing any of us from having shelter, and then those same motherfuckers want to turn around and make homelessness illegal, make it illegal to sleep in your car, make it illegal to sleep in a fucking tent, when the government goes out of their fucking way to drive the prices of food up, and then they blame you. They blame you for not being able to afford it. You can't afford those eggs? Bitch, work harder. Have you tried that? And you guys don't know how bad that makes me want to motherfucking overthrow the government. The idea that the government tells you, the American people, that a livable wage is too much. Shelter, you don't fucking need that. Food, healthcare, fuck you. But just get back to work, America. Don't think about it while these politicians and these corporations are fucking you over.
Bro, I just came out of a live just now, and there was a black man in there talking about how he would love to get rid of income tax, but it's part of our GDP, and we have to deal with an already extremely high national debt. We. Why do y'all still think that this is our and we? It's not our and we when it's time to pay bills. It's only our and we when it's time for me to come out of pocket. When it's time for us to see more of our inalienable rights violated en masse and normalized. And y'all are still out here talking about our GDP. It's yours, huh? You understand it? You see how delulu y'all, like, the way you see the system is objective. Well, this is the system we got. Ain't no changing it today. And blah, 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 blah. Coward, 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 coward. Why don't you just say I'm a coward? That's all you have to say. Look, I'm a coward, and I have no idea what solutions look like, and I have no idea what freedom looks like, and therefore I have no interest in it. Why don't you say that? It's easier, it's less words than to say, we have to worry about our GDP if we didn't have to pay income tax anymore. Because we pay income tax now. Unconstitutionally, I might add. Immorally, I might add. Under tyrannical threat, I might add. And to any clown that wants to come in my comments talking about taxation isn't theft, it's the price we pay to live in a civilized society. Well, you can just kiss my whole ass. But have the day you deserve.
Things I do to stay safe as a black man living in the United States, part 2. I stay away from nice neighborhoods. I pull myself over when I see the police behind me. I just pull over to the side. That way they can't fabricate some bullshit crime. I only allow my children to play with so-called poor white children to reduce the chances that any altercations that my kids may have with their kids won't result in an altercation with their parents or potential cause of Karens out there. I stay away from Walmart as much as possible. And if I do go to Walmart, I stay away from the gun aisle. I've studied their systems, their customs, and their way of life extensively. I've cultivated a healthy sense of POW in my soul. I stay away from black people who make excuses for this way of life and system. In fact, I stay away from anybody who makes excuses for this way of life or system, because you don't even have the privilege of the benefits and you're still advocating for it. And that's just mind-boggling. I don't allow Kyles or Karens or the police to see me before I see them. When I see the police parked anywhere in convenience stores or gas stations, anything like that, I don't go. Because I know that even though they're not there for me, even though I haven't done anything for them to be there for me, my life is still on the line. I know my rights. I know where they come from. And more importantly, I know where they don't come from. I literally moved to the middle of nowhere. And even though I've done all these things and do all these things and more, I know, like someone else so eloquently put it, I know that it won't save me from their BS, but it increases my chances.
Help me bring my brother home before it's too late. Hi, I'm a loving sibling, and I'm raising funds to help my only family member, Riaz. Riaz is currently trapped in Trinidad, facing dire conditions. His health's declining, and I'm desperate to bring him home. With your help, I can bring them home and ensure their safety. Your support will provide them with essential food, medicine, and the hope they desperately need. Please help me save my brother.
You are not separate from anything, and you can't be separate from anything, because as a divine fractal of God, you contain everything. This is all about, it's all about understanding the truth about yourself. And the truth about yourself is that you freaking contain everything. You always have and you always will. Once you know that, you realize that nothing, no experience, no manifestation, no conscious creation is out of your reach. Nothing is beyond your reach. And nothing can elude the infinite energy that you truly are. The next thing you need to understand is that you are not a person. That's an illusion. It's an optical illusion, right? That you're this human character. It's just an avatar that's being projected by the light of your consciousness. What you are is the light, the source energy that is projecting the movie onto the screen of consciousness. That's what you actually are. And that being is the ultimate creator. It's a limitless being that creates from a limitless source.
I will never forget seeing this part on Zeitgeist.
Horus was born on December 25th of the Virgin Isis Mary. His birth was accompanied by a star in the east, and upon his birth he was adored by 3 kings. Horus had 12 disciples he traveled about with, performing miracles such as healing the sick and walking on water. Dionysus of Greece, born of a virgin on December 25th, was a traveling teacher who performed miracles such as turning water into wine. He was referred to as the King of Kings, God's only begotten Son, the Alpha and Omega, and many others. And upon his death he was resurrected. Mithra of Persia, born of a virgin on December 25th, he had 12 disciples and performed miracles, and upon his death was buried for 3 days and thus resurrected. The fact of the matter is, there are numerous saviors from different periods from all over the world which subscribe to these general characteristics.
Cause what you mean all these religions been recycled and morphed together over and over again? And really they're all talking about the sun.
Have you ever thought about how for every 2 police officers, there's 1,000 American citizens? Or have you ever thought about how for every politician, there's 400,000 Americans? Have you ever thought about how the fact that there's 336 American cities with at least a population of 100,000 people?
This is how I know y'all sick, though. I went into a live, I'm listening, and they're talking about how it's weird that a lot of black people feel like we need white people to succeed. That's why they voted for Donald Trump. And I got on a panel, and the first thing they asked me was who I voted for. And I said, I didn't vote, but I did support Jasmine Sherman. And somebody said, who? And the host said, oh, they just threw away their vote. One, what's the point of having a vote? If I don't vote for you or whoever you want me to vote for, I'm throwing it away. That just renders having a vote irrelevant. It renders having principles irrelevant. But to sit here, like, y'all really, you wouldn't say that a Trump person threw away their vote, but because I didn't support one of the 2 that they pre-packaged for you, I threw away my vote. You know how insulting that is? You people are gross. Ew.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it.
We need to plant gardens this spring like we won't have money for groceries this winter. And like our neighbors' kids will be starving as well. This is the real revolution. Grow your food because we might not be able to afford groceries this winter. And it's important for us to be able to feed each other. None of us can do it alone, but together we can do anything.